Today I'm going to teach some about fundamental technique, how to become better, more proficient at playing this instrument. Now, technique can be a challenging thing to practice. Perhaps the most difficult part is that sometimes it's real boring and kind of mundane. I'm not talking about playing real fast and jumping around all over the instrument. I know people can do that. I'm talking about learning the fingerboard, learning the relationships of the notes, where they're at, what they are, and how to execute them clearly. Sometimes people say, Jim, but I can do this, and I can do this, and I can do this. Why do I need technique? Well, those are the things you've worked on, and that's good. We all need to work stuff out. But what I'm talking about is developing a fundamental approach to practicing technique. So when we're required to execute something that maybe we haven't spent a lot of time doing, we're more capable of doing that. We have more control of the instrument. It truly amazes me how many people, if I just call out random pitches and I say E flat on the D string, G on the A string, B flat on the E string, that takes them a second or two to find it. And then particularly ones that are in relationship with each other. So I'm going to show you how to practice some fundamental technique. We're going to work out of this book here today called The Integrated Reading Technique. You don't necessarily need to have the book for this lesson, although it's a good book to work with. And I'm not going to talk about reading per se, like, difficult stuff. No, we're going to work on some really fundamental shapes. That's one of the big things I use to teach with. And we're going to develop our technique with it. I have found that using this simple reading material is the best way to begin a good understanding and knowledge and working a facility of fundamental technique. Okay? Let's do it. Let's pretend right now that you know how to play a G major scale. If you don't, learn one. I once had a guy just recently say, Jim, if this were a real bass lesson, you'd be teaching us physically how to do those things. Well, I'm not assuming you're a beginner. I'm going to assume that you've jumped around and maybe you play well, but I'm going to assume at least you know how to move around the fingerboard. You know how to hold the bass. So again, that G major scale. Notice the fingering. I recommend you learn to play one finger per fret. Not like this, not like this. No, one finger per fret. It just makes sense. Some people don't like that. Well, too bad. I'm the teacher here. So let's do that again. Get your bass out and play with me. Start on the second finger, and here we go. G. Good, simple stuff. Most of you can do that. If you're not using one finger per fret, I sure recommend you practice it. Do you have to do it all the time? You do what you want. But this is excellent, excellent practice technique. Now, what we're talking about here is I'm going to play a little example out of the book. It happens to be number 24. And it's very simple, but I'll show you how you should be using it. Here we go. I'm going to count it kind of fast right now. It's written in half notes, but here it is. 1, 2, 3, 4. Pretty simple, right? Let's move it up a half step. Now this one's simple enough that I know you can do it, but I want you to watch the page while you're doing it. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3. Up another half step. 1, 2, 3. Look at the page, if you've got the book. Now, why are we doing this? This song is so simple that many people say, Jim, well, I can already do that. I don't need to look at it. Yeah, I know. We're going to play a lot more difficult ones, though, I promise. Plus, if you're going to learn to read music, you need to know the shapes. You can't be going G, G sharp, A, G sharp, A sharp, B. No, you just need to know the shapes. Follow the shapes. People who read music well, they're not saying the pitches all the time. They're seeing the shapes and the key that it's in. But here, back to technique. We're wanting to learn the relationships. If this is scale degree 1, back in G, then that's 2, that's 3, that's 2, that's scale degree 1, here's scale degree 7, and 1. Now in the beginning, you may actually want to say those the names of those pitches. You may not want to, but it's a good thing to sort of help you get started a little bit. One more time. Scale degree 1, 2, 3, 2, 1, 2, 1. Scale degree 1, 2, 3, 2, 1, 7, 1. Next key. Let's go to the next exercise. Back to the key of G, and it looks like this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Up a half step. One more half step. 2, 3, 4, 2, 3, 4. Now, this is not a difficult piece, but I didn't memorize it, so I had to read the music and understand. When I shifted up here, all of a sudden, that G I'm looking at, that's not what I'm playing. So I'm just seeing that, oh, there's the root. Going back to 7, there's the root. Oh, we're going up to this scale degree. Oh, we're going back here. I'm just reading the shapes. And that, of course, helps your reading. Learn, teach how to read. But that will teach you how to recognize the sound and the shapes in your fingers. Here's a little example. Check this out. Watch what I'm going to play here. Most of you know what I just played. If you don't, that was a C major, or excuse me, that was a major scale. And here's the key question. Which major scale? All of them. Because that relationship, those relationships produce that sound. Well, that's how we want to practice our technique. And with real simple reading material, that's a good way to do it. It's the best way to do it, in my opinion, because we're not improvising. We don't have to think about what should I be doing here. We're not playing fast. We're not trying to shift all over the place. No, we're trying to learn the relationships of these notes. As we play more difficult pieces, you'll be able to go, oh. And then you'll be able to look up and go, oh, it's that relationship. And sure, you can say it if you want. Oh, that's the root. There's the 7, there's the 5, there's the 3 of the scale. It's not necessary, though. Let's try the next one here. Example 26. Back to my original key. 1, 2, 3, 4. Up a half step. 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3. I recommend you take each example up at least 3 frets, maybe 4. Let's go on to make it just a little more difficult. Here's number 27. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, One more half step up. Good. Next example. Example number 28. 1, 2, 3, 4. 2, 3, 4. 2, 3, 4. Up a half step, a little faster. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. you getting the idea? We're simply trying to train our fingers to recognize the shapes we're seeing here reading, but more importantly, we're wanting to train our ears to hear and to recognize what it sounds like when our fingers make these shapes. Again, I repeat, what does this sound like? Most people know that. That's a major scale. They recognize the finger, and if I say sing it, they go, da, do, da, do, da, do, da, da. Well, how do they know that? They've heard it many times, and they can see the relationship of it here. Check this out. If I do this, pretty much everyone knows what I'm doing. I'm snapping my fingers. How did you know that, though? You couldn't see it. You say, well, Jim, I've heard it before. I've seen it before. Correct. That's how we need to learn. See, if I went back here and made a sound you've never heard before in your life, well, you wouldn't know what I'm doing, would you? So this relationship of our eyes to our ears and our fingers, that's vital to learning your fingerboard real well. Here, check this one out. Oh. Yeah. So that's a shape I learned. Sorry. I screwed it up. Next key. That's just a little faster technique exercise I use a lot to get the fingers moving to hear where those sounds are. If I do it real slow, sure, you recognize that whole first shape. Why? It's just a scale. So I recommend that you do some practice like this. I highly recommend you get the book. It'll help you. As a matter of fact, some people say, Jim, I'm just not good at reading music. Well, get after it. This will help you too. You don't need to be reading all sorts of, fancy solos and transcriptions. I can tell you from a fact that reading music's hard to learn to do, but it's totally possible if you just do it the right way. But there's no reason why we can't learn to read music and develop our fingerboard knowledge at the same time. I don't see how you could do one. I don't see how you can do them separately, quite frankly. I think that's why a lot of people have problems reading music. They're playing material that doesn't sort of fit in their fingers and doesn't strengthen that fundamental technique. Hope this makes sense to you. I'm going to do a lot more training and teaching on this. Fired up.